Well, we've got a massive month of boxing coming up in November. We've got Joshua Buatsi versus Zack Parker, November the 1st, up in Manchester. Now, guys, Duke, I'll start with you. Great fight for both guys, and a tough comeback fight, by the way, for Joshua Buatsi.
Yeah, this is why I like Buatsi. Buatsi doesn't take easy fights. He only has hard fights. He only wants the hard fights because he wants to prove himself that he's a world-class fighter. This is as hard a fight as he could want, and he's going to get as hard a fight as he can get. We're going to find out, A, what he's got left, and B, what his ambitions are in terms of, like I say, rejuvenating himself, reinventing himself, I should say, back onto the world scene. If, and it's a big if, he can do a job on Zack Parker, then that's a big statement.
Paul, he's coming off a loss to your brother, Callum. I mean, would you have gone straight back into a tough fight like this for Zack Parker? Where do you see it for Joshua Buatsi? I mean, it's a brave move.
It is, but I mean, no disrespect to Zack Parker saying this. I've seen signs in his last couple of fights that I don't think it's going to be as tough a fight as it would be expected for Buatsi. And I'm missing it might come back to bite me on the backside, that. But from what I saw in Parker's last couple where he's struggled, I think it's probably really good matchmaking because the name on paper is a very good name. It's a tough fight normally, but I've just seen a couple of things in a couple of previous fights. But listen, Buatsi would have been forgiven for taking an easier comeback fight after the war that he had with Callum. That was a war. It was a war of attrition. I was watching it from the corner, in Callum's corner, thinking, when's he going to break? When's he going to? Because he just kept coming. Buatsi, he's tough as anything, and he went up in my estimation. His stock rose that night. Win, lose or draw, it was always going to rise in because I think he put in a very good performance. But I'm excited he's back. I'm happy he's back. He's a very talented fighter. I think he's got a lot of talent, and I hope he reaches the potential that I felt he had before he turned professional when he won the ABA title years ago. I've
got to tell you, both guys showed incredible character there, and it's going to be brilliant to see Joshua Buatsi back. Now, we've got another light heavyweight fight on there. It's for the European title, and we've got Bradley Ray going in against Lyndon Arthur. Now, that's a great fight, Duke, as well.
Oh, like Lyndon Arthur. Like him a lot. He's almost like, he's like one of them fighters that slipped under the radar a little bit. Nobody's really talking about him. But we've seen him fight a few times, Spence, and he can fight. I promise you that. Lyndon Arthur can fight. You know what? That's a good fight.
Yeah.
That's a really good show,
you know, Duke. I think the whole lot. I'm there. I've got young Steve Clarke, who I'm managing, my brother Stephen Sains on the undercard. So I've obviously been looking forward to the show. But when you go through the show, there's not really a bad fight on it. It's a good show. It's a really good show.
I mean, let's fast forward to November the 22nd now. A guy that Lyndon Arthur actually lost to in an incredible fight as well. Anthony Yarde, he takes on Benavidez. I mean, what a fight that is. David Benavidez, Anthony Yarde. You've got to respect Yarde, by the way, haven't you? I mean, the 2 world title shots he's had, you go back 2019 against Sergey Kovalev, and then he goes and boxes Artur Beterbiev. He does well in both of them. He comes off second best, as we all know. But, I mean, you get your third attempt at a world title, you'd hope for an easier route, wouldn't you? But, like, David Benavidez, man, that's a tough fight.
Yeah, listen, he's had every opportunity he's had, and he has had the opportunities. It's been a very tough opportunity and a big ask for him, and away from home, and he's doing the same thing again here, albeit it's on neutral territory, although it's away from home, and it's a big ask, and I hope he does well. Listen, I've got nothing against Anthony Yarde. I've been vocal about him and his team plenty in the past, but it's not against him personally. I think he's a very good fighter. I think he's got a massive heart and a lot of skill, and he's up against it again as he was in the first 2 fights, but I wish him every success, but it's a good fight. I think it's a really good fight on paper.
November the 15th, Eubank Benn, the rematch, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Can't wait for this one, guys. I don't know about you. I mean, look, people that are saying they don't want to see this, if you look at that last fight...
We can all speak this way because Simon's not here, can't we?
Yeah, exactly, that's it. We're boxing men talking now, aren't we? It's like, you know, Simon's watching it at home. He's like, why did I say I didn't want to see that? I mean, that was a great fight, the first one. Like, that 12th round was absolutely incredible. What are you expecting? I'll start with you, Duke. What are you expecting in the rematch?
Well, you know, again, it's not a fight, is it? It's an event. You know, it's an event. The whole night, the whole show, the whole stage is an event. And these 2 men that are fighting are quite evenly matched. But again, I can't see Eubank losing. I know he's, you know, really tight, making weight, one thing or another. But for me, Eubank just ticks all of the boxes. You know, I don't think he's just not genetically, physically big enough to pose him any real threats. He's game and he throws shots, and you know, but they're on a wing and a prayer. He doesn't land as many as he'd like to, obviously. But I can't really see Eubank really slipping up. I can't.
What about you, Paul? Where are you at with it? Like, I mean, what do you feel about the rehydration clauses? Everything's the same as what it was last time. Eubank clearly got it wrong, didn't he? And we know we've all had to make weight, so we know how tough it is. And if you get it wrong by a little smidge, the performance is what it is. Eubank clearly got it wrong, so he won that fight, possibly on his worst night. And for me, Conor Benn excelled himself. He come up through the weight divisions and he delivered a performance. Do you see it going the same way, or do you think that Eubank actually could be better? Because a lot of people are saying Eubank that might have taken a lot out of him.
Yeah, I think you've just said that exactly, which teased me up nicely to what I was going to say. He won the fight, but he won the fight well. Eubank, I don't think it was a close fight.
No, I mean, you're right.
And I've got again, no digs at Conor Benn there. It was a great effort. I will be there or will be watching this next fight because I'm interested, because it was a good fight the first time. And that's what made the event great. And I'm a sucker for nostalgia. As soon as I heard Simply the Best and seeing Chris Senior turn up, I was there. My brother Liam was fighting the cat. I was buzzing. I was shouting, I hope he plays Simply the Best. I was there for the nostalgia. I watched the dads. The dads were legends growing up and people I looked up to massively when I was coming through the young amateur ranks myself with my brothers. And I want to see this second fight because the first fight was a really good competitive fight. It shouldn't probably be competitive because of the weight differences. And it shouldn't really be as competitive as it was. But the fact that it is because Eubank is probably a little bit on the decline. I think he'll be a bit better with Bomac in the corner and in the gym now, giving him the right
point. That
I think that will help him make the weight also, which then will probably transfer into the ring and he'll probably will be better. I think Conor Benn will be better and have a bit more confidence because he knows he can hurt Eubank. And the reason that he's hurting Eubank is because of what I've just said. I think Eubank is a little bit on the slide, but that's what makes it a very competitive fight. And that's what makes people like me and people like yourselves want to tune in and watch it because it's a competitive fight.
Well, boys, November the 29th, we get Ben Whittaker making his debut on a Matchroom show against Benjamin Gavazzi. Good fight, this one, Duke.
It's a good fight. And what we want to see from Ben Whittaker, you want to see him in good fights. You don't want to see him in fights where he's going to walk in there and blow the other guy out the water. We want to see this guy think and get through the rounds, deliver what he says he's going to deliver. You know, he's got this whole big media circus following him now, where he's got to live up to that kind of hype, which he has done up to this point. So, you know, but Gavazzi's no pushover. It's a tough fight to come back. It's not a comeback fight, but it's a tough fight to have at this stage of his career for Whittaker, but it will give us the answers that we need. It's the step in the right direction.
Absolutely, I agree with that. I mean, what's your thoughts on Ben Whittaker's move from Ben Shalom to Eddie Hearn? Is it the right promoter for him?
I think it's the right promoter for him. Yeah, I think it was a great announcement as well. To be fair, it was funny, it was tongue in cheek, but I really liked it. I thought it fitted the tones perfectly. I think with Whittaker, someone like Liam Cameron was the ideal fight for him, and he should have did in the first fight what he did in the second. He didn't do that in the first, and he come in for a lot of criticism, which then will have made his skin thicken a little bit, create a bit more of a shell and a bit more callous on him because he really got criticised and slagged off for that. But in the comeback fight when he won, when he beat Cameron, you seen the emotion come through. And I actually spoke to him after it when I met him in Istanbul at an event. I said I was really happy with the way you showed your human side there because he is putting a persona on. You know,
of course
he's not arrogant and cocky. He's a nice lad and he's respectful. But when he's in there, he's putting this act on and that persona because of what he is, a top-class Olympian who's expected big things of in the pros. These tests that he's having now, even the Cameron one includes, and this fight, will stand him in good stead for that. And he has to be tested. He can't just be going and blasting people out.
Can he be a world champion?
Do nothing for him.
To both of you guys, do you think that he can fulfil his potential and become a world champion?
Not just yet. I think if he stays on the right trajectory in time, when the champions that are there now, Bivol Batibia, Benavidez, Callum, Buatsi, all them lot, when they start to fade out, then obviously who knows what's going to happen with the division, but he's certainly got the potential to. If he has the right training, the right setup around him, he lives the life, there's nothing stopping him because he's very talented. Of course he can.
He can become a world champion. He's still learning, he's still relatively quite young, and it's just all about the right matchmaking. I mean, I don't 100% agree with what Paul said earlier on about switching camp and going to the other side. Personally, you know, I'm a little bit old school, if you will, and I'm like, you know what, you just stay where you are because, you know, Ben Shalom's done a great job with him up until this point. He's unbeaten, he's looked good in his fights. I know obviously he had the blip with the Callum, with the the boy you mentioned
Do you
earlier.
know the only reason why I mention it is
Yeah.
obviously Eddie's a more successful and better promoter, but if you're with Sky Sports, Ben
he
Shalom's the
though?
place to be.
Yeah, is he? I mean, you know.
I think he's proven that Ben Shalom's a newcomer. I've got nothing against Ben Shalom personally, obviously, but
I think for Whittaker, Whittaker's that guy that he's self-promoted, isn't he?
It was perfect for Whittaker.
Yeah.
And now that's not there no more, then that's probably one of the main reasons.
I don't know, but that's probably one of the main reasons. Doing the Jerry Maguire bit with him on the phone.
Don't know if we could, to be honest. Listen, boys, on the same night, we've got Fraser Clarke going in against Jamie TKV, a fight that has been postponed, but it's now on. There's not a lot of love between these two. How do you see that one?
It's a good fight. It's a good fight. This is that's a real, what you call an even money fight. I don't think anybody stands out to be the outright winner. Or just to, it's not a give me, is it? Do you see what I mean? I think they're both gonna have to work really hard for the victory. It doesn't matter who wins. Whoever does win is gonna know that he's been in a fight. TKV, he's a little bit of a dark horse, that boy. I think he could do well in this fight. He might turn the Fraser Clarke over.
You look at the Adelaide fight, and it was going his way. Yeah, Adelaide ended up knocking him out in that 6th round. You go, and it was controversial. Was it? Was it the referee had his involvement in that one? But you look at it and you go, you know what? He is the dark horse.
Yeah.
I think that Fraser is the kid with all the pedigree.
Yeah.
But, it's a great fight, that one. I mean, where does the winner go, Paul? Like, the winner, do you see him in with like a Dave Allen type, a David Adelaide? I mean, where would you put the winner?
I think the winner's well ahead to Dave Allen, without being disrespectful to Dave Allen, because this is for the British title. And the British champion at that stage, if you look at the top 20 in Britain, which have just had up then on BoxRec, it's a stacked division. Top 20 in the world. This is like, I think Zhilei Zhang is the number 20th fighter in the heavyweight division in the world. And
would you take the European route? You go down that route, you know what I mean? You win the British, the old school style.
Yeah, he could do, Spencer. The European title is a great title, obviously, but I think with Fraser, don't forget, Fraser stayed amateur and had 2 Olympic cycles with Joe Joyce and with Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
And that will have took a lot out of him as well. So although he's relatively a young professional, he's got a bit of miles on the clock from that tough amateur career. And we had him on last week and we were talking with him about that amateur career and whether it was right for him. But it was the only thing he probably could have done. So I think he's going to have to just take the handbrake off. If he wins this fight, Fraser Clarke, which we probably think he might, then he's got to just try and call some of these names out that are on the heavyweight list. And there's enough of them out there.
Great comeback, by the way, from Fraser Clarke. When you looked at the facial damage that he had, when against Fabio Wardley, and you go, will he even return? He's come back. He's had that win over Ebenezer Teti, and you go, he's put himself in this position now. You go, you got to respect that, Duke.
Yeah, listen, it's called character, isn't it? He's just showing that he's got character. He's not about to swallow and just hide and wither away. He's saying to himself, you know what? I had that defeat, and now this is my chance to. It's like redemption, isn't it, in more ways than one?
Yeah.
And I do think in this particular fight, it's not a gimme, as I said, but you would expect Fraser Clarke, if he's got anything about him, he's got to come out on top.
Well, that's it for episode 144 of Talk Boxing. Paul, Duke, thanks very much, and we will see you next week.